Please, let's take our seats. Welcome to this evening's regular business meeting. We're going to have a moment of silent prayer, and it will be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. If you would, please stand with me. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our March 21st regular business meeting. The first order of business is the adoption of the agenda. Do any board members have any amendments at this time?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis.
I'm sorry?
Commissioner Davis.
Number 18. I'm sorry, is it 18?
Yes.
Yes, number 18. I'd like that to be removed from the agenda in totality to be discussed in a work session later.
Well, I think we got to remove it from the consent agenda, put it on the regular agenda. Well, not the regular agenda, but when we get to the zoning
Okay.
items,
And then table
then table it. Yes.
That's correct.
So I'll second that motion
Well,
to take it off the consent agenda.
we don't need a second for that one,
You are correct.
right? Okay. So
You are correct.
So remove that from the consent agenda.
And
Number
put it
18.
on the
Put
zoning
it on
hearings.
zoning.
Any others? All right, is there a motion to approve the agenda, or adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous.
Great. Our next item is, excuse me. Our next item is a proclamation. March is Procurement Month. This is presented by Central Services.
Clayton County Board of Commissioners observe March 2023 as Procurement Month. Whereas the Clayton County Central Services Department has a significant impact on the quality, efficiency, and effectiveness of Clayton County government through its centralized procurement system. And whereas the Clayton County Central Services Department recognizes, supports, and practices the public procurement values and guiding principles of accountability, ethics, impartiality, professionalism, service, and transparency, established by the National Institute of Governmental Purchasing as fundamental tenets of the public procurement profession. And whereas the month of March has been designated as Procurement Month by the National Institute of Governmental Purchasing, and purchasing organizations throughout the world engage in efforts during the month to inform the public about the important role performed by procurement professionals. And whereas the Clayton County Central Services Department will host a virtual business certification workshop on March 7th, 2023 to increase knowledge of available programs, eligibility, and benefits for small local women and minority businesses. And whereas the Clayton County Central Services Department will host an in-person How to Do Business workshop on March 23rd, 2023 to provide an overview of business engagement with the county once licensed, business certified, and a registered vendor. And whereas the Clayton County Central Services Department has scheduled a virtual internal procurement open house and purchasing training on March 28, 2023 to further expand awareness of procurement functions and to promote collaboration with county departments. Now, therefore, I, Jeffrey E. Turner, Chairman on behalf of the Clayton County Board of Commissioners, do hereby proclaim the month of March 2023 as Procurement Month in Clayton County, Georgia, and encourage all citizens to engage in special efforts during this month to recognize the importance of the role played by the procurement profession in business, industry, and government. In witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of Clayton County, Georgia, to be affixed this 21st day of March in the year 2023.
Yes, we have a presentation for our youth commissioners. For all of you all that do not know, we have young people that are in training to become, whether it's commissioners or council people, U.S. senators or whatever, but to be governmental folk and all. So I'm going to call the names of the ones that have won an award because they participated in what we call the Georgia United Nations Assembly and all, so big deal. So as I call your name, if you would come forward, and then we'll call the remaining youth commissioners. Best Resolution Award, Dong Tran. He's not here, okay. Best Resolution Award, Kayla Tran. She's not here, okay. Best Argument Award, Miata Harris. Best Argument. Okay. Another Best Argument Award is Imani Madison. The Chief Judge, Jediah Whaley. Judah, okay. The others that participated but did not win an award, of the 10 that were in this contest, the others are Gerald Clark, Gerald here, Michaela Hodges, Andy Pham, Robert Reed Taylor, and Nicole Toussaint. These were students that participated. And will the other youth commissioners please come forward?
Let's all stand up.
Let's give them a big hand. Yeah, 10 of our youth commissioners attended the United Nations Ghana, a program for the Georgia Center for Civic Engagement. It is a model United Nations program where students far from across the state take on the role as nation ambassadors. Participants research a country, investigate international issues, debate, deliberate, consult, and then develop solutions to a world problem respective of their nation's selection. And our 10 students participated, and 5, I believe, won these awards. So please give them a great hand. all for everything that you do. Well done. And thank you all so much. Commissioners, before we leave, I ask for a quick point of privilege, if I may. Can the Parks and Rec folks who received the email come down real quick? I think Ms. Gilchrist. Kamisha, Ariana. I know she told me. She said, I've worked since I was a young girl. Well, the reason we're having you all come down is, and also there's Mr. Stringer. Is he here? Greg Stringer? Come on. And Miss Ariana. These beautiful ladies came up with an idea to have a women's empowerment event. And because of that event and the success of it, I wanted to make sure that I recognized you, because as we recognized our youth, you need to understand that it was an employee, one of the young employees, who decided to have this event, which allowed for us to be able to connect to so many in the community. And then also the reason I asked Mr. Stringer to come up is because too often we don't see those who are coming into our community and asking of things but reinvesting in the community. So this happened because of Mr. Stringer as a sponsor, because of the director of that center, of Jim Huey Rec Center, the entire staff, and I cannot leave out South Clayton Rec Center as well, because you all have done an amazing job. So if I could just read this real quick, and then I'll give out the awards. So Clayton County honors inaugural Women's Empowerment event. And whereas on March 4th, 2023, the vision of two young ladies, Ariana Evans and Rochelle Johnson, came to fruition as we celebrated some amazing women throughout the Clayton County community during the inaugural Women Empowerment Luncheon. This event featured a panel of phenomenal women who are trailblazers within various professions. And whereas Beth Stubbs, one of our retired investigators, reminded everyone to keep learning and don't quit and be open and adaptable to change. And whereas Mapiller Don, a business owner and the founder of MTS Sickle Cell Foundation, shared that everyone has that one thing in their lives that may cause a crisis, yet as women, we are strong and to keep going. And whereas Mallory Crowell, one of our very own young students who's now an adult, she went on to attain her engineering degree from Georgia Tech University and had everyone cheering and in tears as she shared a very personal message of resiliency while reminding us all to reach back and help someone else. Ms. Crowell stated, when you come to that moment, when you have no place to turn, no one to turn to, that's when God steps in. And whereas Kathy Loving, and our famous historian, and our centurion, Miss Saida White, shared words of encouragement and triumph, reminding women to work together. And whereas Michelle Fuqua, author and lead engineer with Georgia Power, reminding us to be of the importance of encouraging ourselves and that we are all equipped to achieve our purpose in life. And then finally, Dr. Malika Wilkins, who is the Chief External Affairs Officer and a Clayton County product with Atlanta Regional Commission, shared the importance of perseverance and that as women, we do not have to choose, yet we can have everything and every great thing that life has to offer. So therefore, I, Felicia Franklin, Vice Chair on behalf of Clayton County Board of Commissioners, do hereby offer the warmest and most heartfelt thank you to Jessica Gilchrist and the staff at the Jim Huey Recreation Center. Thank you to Greg Stringer for your donation to the event. Rochelle Johnson and Ariana, it could not have happened without you. And therefore, I set my hand to be a witness on this day, the 21st day of March 21st. Forgive me, I broke your frame. All right. Now, wait a minute. We got one more. Now, Miss Kamisha, this is presented to Kamisha.
And Kamisha Scarborough, you recognize the importance of providing a gathering place for families and social groups, as well as individuals of all groups. You have strived to provide a safe environment for the community to come and enjoy activities at the South Clayton Recreation Center. It's important that I bring them up because I know for you in particular, you have really revitalized that center. And you've been the one to make sure that programming goes out in the face of danger at times. So we're going to keep fighting to make sure you have protection there, but this is for you. And thank you, Commissioners, for that.
All right, group on three. 1, 2, 3. Again, 1, 2, 3. Last time.
The board will now consider the consent agenda.
Yeah, consent.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Hambrick, before we approve the consent agenda, has a point of privilege. Go ahead.
Yes, on yesterday, Tuesday, at the Frank Bailey Senior Center, we had our United States Senator, John Ossoff, who was there for a news conference and a drive around. At the news conference, he delivered, I guess a speech, or let people know that Clayton County had been awarded $2.6 million for flooding victims here in the county, particularly in District 2, which is up in the northern part of the county. This came to us last week or whatever. It was really like a last minute thing. But what I would like to do is congratulate our staff members that worked diligently, like not counting the weekend, less than 24 hours, and pulled this thing off, and it looked professional. So I want these people to please come forward so we can give them a round of applause. A lot of times we talk about our staff members, but we don't really give them the accolades that they really should have. And they pulled this thing off yesterday. I mean, it looked so professional and all. Our COO, Dietrich Stanford, please stand. Yeah, if you all don't mind, just save your applause because the chairman has already told me I only have a few minutes. The deputy COO, please remain standing. Deputy COO, Landry Murchison. Our police chief, come in, please. Our deputy chief information officer from IT, Matthew. Is Matthew here? Matthew's not here, and I mean, he was the one that really got everything together, like Friday, 5 o'clock and all. I really wish he was here. Communications, Valerie Fuller. Is Valerie here?
She's in the back.
Ask her if she could just put her head in so people can know who our employees are. Senior Services Director, Tori Strotter. Is Tori here? She's not here. Okay.
Melissa's here.
Okay, Office of Resilience, Ryan. Parks and Recreation, Troy Hodges. Park Maintenance, Ricardo Newman. Building Maintenance, Benjamin Hopkins. Constituent Aid, Tina Howard. And we left somebody off this list, the director up at Frank Bailey.
Yes.
Right, Joy. I mean, she just fell in place. Everybody, this team, it really represented, and most of all, our commissioners. We were all together. We were all in a van, believe it or not. Nobody, I mean, it was, and all for the drive around. And everything went so smoothly. As a matter of fact, we got compliments from the senator on how things were going and regarding the commissioners and all, and how we working together will really get some things going positively here in Clayton County. So again, please, let's give everybody a round. They represented us well. Thank you.
Okay, so at this time, I will take a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions on any of the items? Hearing none, those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous.
Mr. Chair, our next items are board appointments, starting with item number 24.
All right, first board appointment is for the Development Authority. Herman Andrews Jr., term on the Development Authority, Clayton County, expire March 1st, 2023. New term is for 4 years, expiring on March 1st, 2027. Full board appointment. Any recommendations? I'm gonna make a recommendation for Richard Mahan. Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions? Those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
3-2, it does not pass.
I have a recommendation, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, Commissioner Anderson?
I'm going to make a recommendation for Pastor C.H. Brady.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
Are there any questions? All right, those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Next board appointments to the MARTA Citizens Advisory Board. Alfred Dixon's term on the MARTA Citizens Advisory Board will expire on April 6, 2023. New terms for 2 years, beginning April 6, 2023, and expiring April 6 of 2025. This is the chairman's recommendation, and I am going to ask to reappoint Alfred Dixon. Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions? Those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Next board appointment is also to MARTA Citizens Advisory Board. Yvonne Mussington's term on the Citizens Advisory Board will expire April 6, 2023. New term, 2 years, beginning on April 6, 2023, expiring on April 6, 2025 is also my recommendation. Madam Clerk, if you don't mind, hold that until next meetings, please. All right, next board appointments to the MARTA Citizens Advisory Board. Keith Parker's term on the MARTA Citizens Advisory Board expire April 6, 2023. New terms for 2 years, beginning April 6, 2023, expiring April 6, 2025. Commissioner Hambrick.
Yes, I would like to reappoint Mr. Keith Parker.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Franklin. Any questions? Those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Next board appointment is also to the MARTA Citizens Advisory Board. Shanda Ross' term on the board will expire April 6, 2023. 2-year appointment beginning April 6, 2023, expiring April 6, 2025. Commissioner Anderson.
Yes, I'd like to reappoint Ms. Shonda Ross to MARTA Citizens Advisory Board.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions? Those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Next board appointment is also to the MARTA Citizens Advisory Board. Dr. Tim Gunny's term on the MARTA Citizens Advisory Board will expire April 6, 2023. 2-year appointment beginning April 6, 2023, expiring April 6, 2025. Commissioner Anderson.
Yes, I'd like to reappoint Dr. Tim Guiney to the MARTA Citizens Advisory Board.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions? Those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous.
Mr. Chairman, the next items are public hearings for zonings. Citizens may speak for or against an item that is considered by law to be a zoning decision, and each side will have 10 minutes to present its case. In the event there is more than one speaker per side, speakers must divide their time in order to complete their full presentation within the 10-minute time allotment. When the time runs out, The speaker will be expected to immediately cease speaking and to leave the podium. Applicants or citizens speaking in favor of an item shall speak first. Applicants in zoning ordinance cases shall have the right to reserve time for rebuttal. Opponents of a zoning decision item shall have no right of rebuttal. When speaking, speak directly into the microphone and begin by stating your name, address, and name of any organization you represent. Abusive, profane, or derogatory language will not be permitted. Our first item will be item number 18, ordinance 2023-14, which is BOC 2210-0249, which is a text amendment. This is presented by the zoning administrator.
I think we want to, Commissioner Davis, this is the one you wanted to table.
Correct. Table this, what are we gonna do, 2 months?
Yeah, it said 2 months.
I'm
What's
trying
the
to see
date?
when the
2
date
months. It'll be May what?
That would be May the 16th. We can table it till May the 16th.
All right, is there a second? I'll second the motion. Are there any questions? Those in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous. Next.
Our next item is item number 30, BOC 2209-0237, which is a conditional use permit to operate a convenience store with gas sales.
And the applicant has requested that this be continued for 60 days to May 16th.
To May 16th.
Yes, sir.
All right, I place that in form of a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions? Those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous.
Our next item is item number 31, BOC 2210-0253, which is to amend a mixed use to medium density residential for a single family detached development.
This is BOC-2210-0253, which is a request by battle law to amend the future land use category for 5813, 5817, 5823, 5827, 5831, 5835, and 5839 Maddox Road, Morrow, Georgia, from mixed use, medium density for single family detached development. Said property consisting of 2.91 acres is located on the west side, which is this side of the, on the map, Maddox Road between Rex Road and Old Rexmore Road, and is further known as parcels 12148A-E001, 12148A-E002, 12148A-E003, 12148A-E004, 12148A-E005, 12148A-E006, and 12148A-E007. So this is originally platted as single-family residential. However, it was rezoned to general business, and the applicant wishes to rezone to RG35, which will permit the existing lots. The applicant, on this side of the street, the applicant wants to keep the 7 existing lots as is. And this is the proposed elevation. Staff recommendation is approval, so is ZAG's recommendation.
All right, is the applicant present? Mr. McSwain.
Good evening, Chairman and Board. Tyler McSwain, representing for Battle Law, 3562 Habersham and Northlake. That's in Tucker, Georgia. We'll be representing for this request. Want to probably get this presentation out 5 minutes and reserve the rest for anyone who has to speak out for this one. I want to go ahead and just give the brief summary. Again, Tiers did a great job of explaining what we're doing here. I do want to talk a little bit about the request in terms of conditions that we have for this request. Again, Tiers has already stated that this development is on both sides of Maddox and Rex Road. The site plan, we've tabled this request last February regarding the future land use map. That got approved. We went back to ZAG because ZAG has some recommendations for us, specifically regarding the driveways, building materials, and specific questions about rental. So what we did was come back, provide those comments, and give what ZAG wanted, also what the community had recommended for us. So that's why we got the recommendation of approval from staff and also from the Zone Advisory Board. I want to talk about the request again of how we got here. This request, the subdivision had been platted around the 1960s or so. So these lots, it's not a subdivision in the sense that it hasn't been subdivided. These lots are already subdivided. Sometime in between, I believe, maybe before 2008, it was zoned to general business. So the intent here is that we want to retain the existing character of the area, and also we want to pick up where the previous zoning, the RG 65 zoning district does not exist anymore. So we're requesting RG 75. So this will fall in line with what once was RG 65. So again, what you're voting on at this moment is the future land use map. The reason why we have so many of these requests because there's so many parcels and so many different segregation of parcels for these lots. So again, we're requesting for the approval on this, and I do want to talk a little bit about the conditions. For the future land use map request, there are no conditions. Of course, we wouldn't put conditions on those, only the rezonings. So for the rezonings, we want to know that staff and the zone advisory group did recommend to one, request a variance for lots 8 and 9 from setback requirements to move houses back. One of ZA's recommendations is that we move the houses back as far as possible to make sure that cars can fit on there properly and safely. Condition number 2, it was recommended by ZAD that we include 50% of the total of 7 houses or homes to have full masonry materials, brick. I did mention that we wanted to amend that condition to allow either full brick, stone, or stucco, or include a combination thereof, or in excluding gables. Again, we want to allow just the freedom to meet that condition, but also allow homeowners if they want to get stone or another material other than brick. And lastly, condition number 3, regarding the rental, we want to propose a condition and also identify that when we mention home ownership, that these are fee simple lots. They are not for rental. So we will allow, or we want to propose the condition to read as that the first owner of each lot shall be restricted to fee simple ownership, not rental. Subject lots shall comply with Clayton County's rental restrictions as outlined by the zoning ordinance. So those are the 3 conditions that we went back and forth for the rezoning, and what you're voting on now is the future land use map amendment. And I'll reserve any time you may have for questions.
Okay, thank you.
All right?
All right, this is public hearing at this time. Is there anyone who would like to speak in favor of applicant's request? Anybody like to speak in favor of? All right, would anyone like to speak in opposition to? Anybody opposed?
All right.
Mr. McSwain, you want to utilize your 5 minutes? No, okay. All right. Commissioner Anderson.
I just want to say thank you all for our ZAG board members. Do we have any here tonight? I just want to recognize y'all and say thank you. Thank you, Mr. Augusta. Thank you so much. And also to Battle Law Firm. This is what happens when you work together to get quality lots, things done for the citizens. And I know it's a battle, and I know I asked for a lot, y'all, but one thing about it, well, they asked for a lot. But one thing about it, we want to bring Clayton County up. And that is a way, this is definitely going to be a great, just a great subdivision. And I just thank you all for everything that you all work together to do. So I'm going to go and ask that we approve to move from mixed use to medium density residential for single family detached development right here in District 1.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions? Those in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous.
Our next item is item 32, BOC 2211-0259, which is to amend the public institutional to medium density residential for a single family development.
So this is BOC 2211-0259, which is a request by Battle Law to amend the future land use category for 5840 and 5846 Maddox Road. These are the two bluish color on the right-hand side for a single-family detached development. Said property consisting of 0.8 acres is located on the east side of Maddox Road between Rex Road and Old Rex Morrow Road, and is further known as parcels 12148A D008 and 12148A D009. And staff's recommendation is approval, and so is Zach's recommendation.
Mr. McSwain.
Hello again, Tyler McSwain. I believe I was pretty brief with my explanation from last time and carry over the same thoughts and entertain any questions.
No minutes.
Same time for if anybody has any comments, that's fine.
Okay. Public hearing, anybody want to speak in favor of? Anyone speak in favor of? Anybody opposed to? Anybody opposed? Commissioner Anderson, unless you want your 5.
You want your 5?
All right. Commissioner.
Look, you say you tired of fighting, huh? All right, I would like to propose that we amend the future land use category for 5840 and 5846 Maddox Road, Morrow, Georgia, from public institutional to medium density residential.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions? Those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous.
Next item, 33, BOC 2211-0260, which is to amend a general commercial to medium density residential for a single family detached development.
This is BOC 2211-0260, which is a request by Battle Law to amend the future land use category for 1215 Rex Road and 5814, 5824, 5832, and 5836 Maddox Road. These are the top 5 wood parcels on the right side of the screen. Morrow, Georgia, 30260, from general commercial to medium density residential for a single family detached development. Said property consisting of 1.26 acres is located on the east side of Maddox Road between Rex Road and Old Rex Morrow Road, and is further known as parcels 12148A D003, 12148A D004, 12148A D005, 12148A D006, and 12148A D007. And so the plan is to combine these 7 lots and make 6. And therefore this project will have a total of 13 lots on both sides of the road. Staff recommendation was approval, so was Zag's.
Mr. McSwain.
Okay. Tyler McSwain, Battle Law. Just going to make the statement again. It's going to repeat the conditions, so we're now on the rezoning portion of it, so it is fresh on you all's mind. What's that? Oh, we're in the flume? Okay. Well, disregard that. We're still in the flume, so no comments.
Anybody like to speak in favor of? Anybody like to speak in favor of applicant's request? Anybody?
Mr. Chairman.
Come forward, Mr. Garber.
Madam Clerk, Mickey Garber, unincorporated Rex, Georgia. Yes, I'm in favor of the development, but I want to keep on hearing that with each one of these developments that are coming in, just like the first one you did with the no rentals, we can't be turning our community into a hotel motel flop house situation. I want to hear that at every zoning for residential. Thank you.
Anybody else want to speak in favor of? Anybody in opposition to? Anybody opposed? Commissioner Anderson.
All right. Thank you. Again, good evening. I move that we amend the lots from general commercial to medium density residential for a single family detached development.
Is there a second?
And no rent.
Second.
Mr. Garber, please, no outbursts. Properly moved and second. Any questions? Those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous.
Next item, 34, BOC 2212-0266, which is to modify a zoning conditions approved under BOC 2202-0182, which is for a conditional use permit for car sales lot to operate.
BOC-2212-0266, which is a request by Battle Law PC to modify zoning conditions approved under BOC-2202-0182 for car sales lot to operate at 7710 Terre Boulevard, Jonesboro, Georgia, 30236. Said property is in the GB General Business Zoning District and Terre Boulevard Overlay District. Said property consists of plus or minus 2.067 acres with frontage on Terre Boulevard and Main Street, and is north of South Lake Drive, and is further known as parcel 13207CA006. When this was first approved, there were 5 conditions. The applicant is requesting to modify condition number 5. And staff's recommendation was denial, so was Zach's recommendation.
Mr. McSwain.
Good evening again. You probably see I'm going to be busy tonight. Thank you, Tiris. Chairman and board members, we had a conversation regarding this matter at the wee hours today, and have found a breakthrough in order to meet what the requirement was, and also the idea of what the commissioner and what this county wants for properties like this. So we are going to formally request to withdraw this request, given that we can install the sidewalks as promised from our original request.
Commissioner Davis.
I appreciate that from the discussion we had to begin to really move forward with this in a way that's going to keep with what we originally agreed upon. So thank you for that. And I move that we withdraw this request.
Is there a second? I'll second the motion. Any questions? Those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous.
Our next item is item 35, BOC 2210-0252, which is a rezoning from general business to residential for a single-family detached development.
BOC-2210-0252, which is a request by Battle Law PC to rezone 5813, 5817, 5823, 5827, 5831, 5835, 5839 Maddox Road, Morrow, Georgia, 30260 from GB to RG 35 residential for a single-family detached development. Said property, consisting of plus or minus 2.91 acres, is located on the west side of Maddox Road between Rex Road and Old Rex Morrow Road, and is further known as parcels 12148A E001, 12148A E002, 12148A E003, 12148A E004, 12148A E005, 12148A E006, and 12148A is E007. Staff recommended approval. ZAG recommended approval with 3 conditions, which are requested variance for lots 8 and 9 from setback requirements to move houses back. However, if the houses are moved back, then it's quite possible a variance is not required. 50% full front brick, which is a total of 7 houses out of the 13 lots. And fee simple for first-time home buyers, first owners, which means the first owners of the homes, and no rentals. And that completes my presentation.
Okay, Mr. McSwain.
Okay. Tyler McSwain, Battle Law. Now I get to come back and we get to refresh those conditions. So thank you, Tira. So in summary, we're just requesting to amend the second and third condition, and I'll read them as such. To request, one, to request a variance for lots 8 and 9 from setback requirements to move houses back, as stated by staff. We are modifying condition number 2 to include, instead of just brick, to also allow options for full brick, stone, or stucco, or combination thereof, excluding gables. So that would be the modified condition number 2. And for the last condition, condition number 3, we believe that staff has stated in a way that meets our intent. But again, however that we wish to move forward is that if I'm a second-time owner, if I bought a house somewhere else, and I want to come move here, that this condition doesn't legally bound me saying that I can't move here because I'm a first-time homeowner. So again, the intent of this was to allow the person coming in here to be an actual owner of the home and not a company or someone else trying to buy to rent. That's what we're trying to prevent. So I'll be happy to move forward with those conditions. Are we good with the conditions? Okay, yep, so I'll repeat them again, per the request of staff, that 1, request a variance for lots 8 and 9 from setback requirements to move houses back. Condition number 2, to allow 50% total of 7 houses shall include full brick, stone, stucco, or any combination thereof, excluding gables. And lastly, condition number 3, first owner of each lot shall be restricted to fee simple ownership, not rental. Subject lot shall comply with Clayton County's rental restrictions as outlined within the Clayton County zoning ordinance. And again, I think we both have explained that last condition, and we're okay to move forward with you all's recommendation or staff's recommendation with the third and last condition.
Yeah, 'cause I want to talk to him about
And
that.
then take first-time home buyers out.
That might be more of your question. Yeah.
All right, is there anything else, Mr. McSwain?
No, that's it.
All right, anybody would like to speak in favor of applicant's request?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to.
Come forward, Mr. Garber.
Madam Clerk, Mickey Garber, unincorporated Rex, Georgia. What information I'm lacking here is the prospective square footage in these houses and what they're gonna look like. All I'm getting up here is the lot and the color of the lot. I wanna see something, what I'm getting, and what is the expected selling price of these homes. Chairman Anderson, I would appreciate you being my commissioner to ask those questions for me.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, anybody else like to speak in favor of? Anybody in opposition to? Anybody opposed? All right, Mr. McSwain, if you can come and answer some of those questions that was just posed.
To address Mr. Garber's questions, one, starting with the price, they're going to be starting off at around the 300s. Now, given that may increase depending on the market demand, and also materials may factor into that as well. But just to put something out there, will be in the 300s.
And don't we have some renderings of some of the houses?
Yeah, they were presented, and also part
Can you
of the
show me
presentation that we've already presented as well. I'm not sure you all can feel free to go back on that. But to answer the second question, I believe was the minimum square footage. The RG 75 zoning district allows a minimum lot of heated floor around the 1800s. So that would be the minimum. These houses are more than likely going to be larger than that in the 2000s and ranging, because we do allow or have a ranch product. So it's a one floor product. So again, those would vary and be in compliance with the RG 75 zoning district.
Thank you. All right, Commissioner Anderson.
I have a question. You said full brick, you said stucco as well?
Yes.
Okay, and did you say something about water tables as well?
Well, we had a conversation. We did not mention the water tables because during ZAG, we had a discussion. We originally attempted to put water tables on the homes, but given that we were putting full face brick on 50% of the homes, that would be somewhat of the compromise there.
Okay, all right. And you said, and I do understand what you were saying about the fee simple if you bought another home, more or less. But again, we want our first-time home buyers to have that option. So again, that will be an option for our first-time home buyers, and no rentals, correct?
Right, that's
All
correct.
right, I wanted to make sure everybody heard that, no rentals. Again, thank you so much for the hard work that you all have done with this, and I move that we accept the request to rezone from GB to RG 75 with the conditions. You said what? And then also, so are we taking out the first-time home buyers? No,
I think we, go ahead, Teresa.
Tell me, what are we doing with that?
So what it is, and staff agrees with the applicant, first owner of each lot shall be restricted to fee simple ownership
Okay.
and not rental.
Okay, I got you. All right. All right.
Your motion.
I made the motion, so.
Second.
Any questions? Those in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous.
Okay, thank you all.
Thank you.
Our next item is item number 36, BOC 2211-0263, which is to rezone from general business to residential for a single-family detached development. I'm sorry, excuse me, we are on item number 37. That is BOC 2210-0255, which is to amend a map category for Highway 138 in Jonesboro from mixed use to high density residential for a single family attached townhome development.
We're actually at agenda item number 36.
So we are. So I was right.
Yes, ma'am. So this is BOC-2211-0263, which is a request by bylaw PC to rezone 2215 Rex Road and 5814, 5824, 5832, 5836, 5840, and 5846 Maddox Road, Morrow, Georgia 30260 from GB General Business to RG75 to RG75 residential for a single-family detached development. Said property, consisting of plus or minus 2.06 acres, is located on the east side of Maddox Road between Rex Road and Old Rexmore Road, and is further known as parcels 12148A, D003, 12148A, 8A, D004, 12148A, D005, 12148A, D006, 12148A, D007, 12148A, D008, and 12148A, D009. So this is on the right hand of the screen. The proposal is to rezone these 7 properties, however, combine them into only 6 lots on this side of the road. Staff recommended approval. Zach's recommendation, approval with 3 conditions. However, the 3 conditions that were just approved for the agenda item number 35 were request a variance for lots 8 and 9 from setback requirements to move houses back. And lots 8 and 9 are actually on this side of the road. The front facade of 50% of the homes shall include full brick, stone, or stucco, or combination thereof, excluding gables. And this is for a total of 7 homes. And then first owner of each lot shall be restricted to fee simple ownership, not rental. And that concludes our presentation.
Mr. McSwain.
Okay. Tyler McSwain, Battle Law, and retain the same comments from the last time with the modified conditions as for the last case.
Public hearing, anybody want to speak in favor of? Anybody in favor? Anybody opposed? Anybody opposed? Come forward, please.
Orlando Gooden, Clayton County. The first question that I had was answered by Mr. Garber, the price of the lot, the house. The second question was, is this owner occupancy to eliminate the rentals? And the third question is, what's the size of the lot? I see the picture, they look like they're right on top of each other. It's like 1/8 of an acre.
We'll get your answer on that.
Okay.
Anybody else?
Good evening, Commissioners, Chairman. I'm all for the building.
State your
and
name.
Darlene Johnson, unincorporated, Clayton County, Rex, Georgia. I am all for the building. I'm excited about all that we're doing. What I would like for the Commissioners to consider, and it's critical that before we continue to constantly build, that we take a moment and consider working on our infrastructure so that we can sustain all that we're building. Right now, we don't have the infrastructure for the amount of building that we're doing. So I'd just like for you guys to consider looking at the infrastructure for all the building that we're doing.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Anybody else? Mr. McSwain. If you can just comment, please, on the size of the lots.
Okay. Okay, Tyler McSwain, the size, I can actually take a look at that. I was going to read the minimum lot standards, but I'm gonna give you a little bit more information based upon the lot sizes that we have. Again, for those in attendance, these lots are already cut out from the Paradise Park subdivision adjacent or west of the property. So again, these are matching what was already cut out based upon the 1960s. What we're doing is building these lots to the current code, which is the RG 75 zoning district. These lots range from, in terms of the size, 10,000 square feet, 13, 12. So I would say in terms of average, 12,000 square feet. In terms of lot size, again, different variations per each lot, because some lots have deeper, narrower backyards. So each size of the lots are going to be different, but just to give you an estimate around the 10,000 and so for the lot size, with the a minimum house size of 1,800s, which these are probably going to be bigger than that based upon the amount of square footage, square footage for the homes. And I'm sorry, I'm not sure if I answered all of the questions on that, but I want to at least address that.
Okay. Is that all you have?
That's all.
All right, Commissioner Anderson.
Again, thank you guys for all the work that you're doing, and thank you for the comments. You said, now I want to get this one more time, with the water tables, you're saying because of the brick, you said some of the homes will not have them because of the brick. Can you explain that?
Right.
Uh-huh.
So originally, all of the homes that we have, and it was part of the elevations that were submitted, had the 3-foot water tables, which were brick, wrapping around just the sides, not the rear of the homes. Given that we had the condition introduced to include 50% of the homes that have a full masonry brick front facade, that was the compromises that we will do that with the removal of the water tables. It's still an option if a homeowner says, I need water tables, they're free to do so.
Okay.
But in terms of what we're offering, you're still getting that look, enhanced value of the homes based upon the material selected.
All right, great. All right. Again, I move that we rezone from GB to RG 75 with the 3 conditions.
there a
Second.
Second by Commissioner Franklin. Are there any questions? Y'all good? You good, Ms. Swain?
Yes, fine.
All right, those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now we will hear item 37, BOC 2210-0255, which is a request to amend future land use map category to high-density residential for single-family attached townhome development.
So BOC-220255, which is a request by Battle Law PC to amend future land use map category for 1535 Highway 138, Jonesboro, Georgia 30236, from mixed use to high density residential for single family attached townhome development. Said property consisting of plus or minus 4.84 acres is located between North McDonough Street and Stockbridge Road, is in the east-west Highway 138 Corridor Overlay District, and is further known as parcel 12047CF001. So this is the middle parcel. The complete proposal is for 132 townhomes on 28.54 acres. Tract A is 45 townhomes on 13.48 acres on the west side of Highway 138. Tract B is 87 townhomes on 15.06 acres on the east side of Highway 138. This is the proposed elevations. So this is in the middle of, this is adjacent to single family residential area, which is in the medium density residential. And staff is thinking that RM is a spot zone, and therefore we recommend denial. So did the ZAG.
Mr. McSwain.
All right. Tyler McSwain, Battle Law. Thank you, Tiris and staff, for the presentation. We understand we went out to the community meeting that the county hosted. We feel as though there's a lot of questions that the community still had, and as well with conversations with the Commissioner Davis. But we think that best thing to do right now is to table this request and the companion applications until we can have further conversation and meeting with the community moving forward. So we will recommend a 30-day tabling for these items in the companion cases.
And
Which one? Go ahead, I'm sorry.
cases are agenda items 37, 38, 39, 40,
No, not 40.
and 41.
40? Okay,
Yes, 40 and 41. Commissioner Davis.
I appreciate the discussions we've had, and just in looking at this area and going to the community and speaking with them, there are no townhomes or high-density units in that entire area. And the other thing I had to realize is I want to be very cognizant about how much stress we put on our first responders, our PD and our EMS. We're already low in both of those, and every time we create a high-density community, that's where our calls are going. So I want to look at that. Also, too, even though they are for sale or fee, what do you call it, fee simple, we've got to begin to look at this whole banking fiasco that has taken place in the last week. We have all of these rights are being underfunded now. The mortgage rights, the equity rights, the normal rights. They're all being underfunded. Tomorrow the feds perhaps might take these interest rates up again, which would be what, 6 in a year. Right now is not the season for this. But if you want to table it, we can table it and have further discussion about what you want to do.
We appreciate that. Thank you.
So what's your motion?
To table it for, you want a 30?
30 days is what we're
30
requesting.
days.
Which items?
38, 39, 40, and 41.
And 37.
And 37.
And, I'm sorry, and 37.
That would be April 18th.
April 18th?
Yes, sir.
Yes, until April 18th.
All right, is there a second? I'll second the motion. Any questions? Those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous.
Thank you all. You have a good evening.
Our next item is item number 42, BOC 2212-0268, which is a request to modify site plan and conditions approved under BOC 2201-0177.
Okay, so this is at, all right, a request by Grove Ventures. Grove Creek Ventures LLC to modify the site plan conditions approved under BOC 2201-0177 4935 Highway 138, Riverdale, Georgia, 30296 for a 90-unit, four-story apartment building. Said property consisting of plus or minus 11.57 acres is located between Scott Road, Highway 138, and Highway 85, is in the RM multifamily zoning district, and the east-west Highway 138 corridor overlay district, and it's further known as parcel 13184D B005. So staff originally had 6 conditions, but okay. So this is the elevations that were approved back in April. This is what was submitted in December 22. And then this is what was submitted this month. This is the rendering. Zach's recommendation is denial. Staff's recommendation is approval with 9 conditions. No more than 90 total units. No 3-bedroom units. The family living developments shall comply in general conformity with the site plan provided by the applicant, revised March 17th, 2023, with the exception that the project shall not have any 3-bedroom units. A minimum of 3 parking spaces shall be designated for electric vehicle charging and shall be free to residents. A minimum of 2 elevators for use by the residents shall be installed. Certificates of occupancy shall not be issued until a management company has been identified and provided to the county. Elevations provided by the applicant revised March 3rd, 2023, and as presented to the BOC shall be what is constructed for the 4-story building. Secured package delivery lockers, community room equipped with Wi-Fi access, community center with developer and apartment management owner provided computers, fitness center, outdoor pavilion, outdoor pavilion with grills, activity lawn. Security items shall include the following: lighting on the building and parking lots, building controlled access on all entry points, building and site security cameras, county police access to surveillance cameras in the case of an incident. That's completes our presentation.
Is the applicant present? Please state your name for me and any minutes you would like to reserve for a rebuttal should somebody be opposed to your request.
Yeah, good evening, Devin Blankenship, 1211 Pebble Creek Road, Marietta, Georgia. I'd like to reserve 5 minutes for rebuttal.
5 minutes. Okay. Please proceed.
So we came last year to rezone this property from general business to residential multifamily. That was approved, as Tira's mentioned, with a 3-story product. That was at the time requested to be a senior tenancy. We are coming back this year to let you guys know, as we mentioned last year, that senior tenancy is harder to get awarded, for the program that we are in. And I do have the letter showing that we submitted for a senior project with Georgia Department of Community Affairs, and it was denied. We are coming back this year. Initially, it was to do 2 things. It was to let the board know that we were wanting to go to a family tenancy, And originally, we had requested 3-bedroom units throughout the process. And I'd also like to thank staff quickly for helping us throughout this process and educating us on everything. And throughout that, it was determined that 3 bedrooms were not a desire by the public or the commissioner's district. So we have agreed to all the conditions that Tyrus mentioned. He also showed some revised elevations going to a 4-story product. We did that so that we could keep the site plan the same as we presented last year. So there are no changes to the building plan overall. The site layout, we meet all parking requirements. The other change you'll see on the elevations is last year there was a mistake in the brick percentage requirement. It was 40% brick shown, but 75% is required by the overlay district. So the revised elevations you saw on the screen meet that requirement. Again, we meet the parking ratio. Additionally, we are going to do the 1 and 2 bedroom units that have been requested. I also brought with me a market study showing the need for these units of over 4,500 units needed. This is the demand, with currently 0 serving that demand. And also through this, we have heard concerns about apartments in general, both by the public and zoning and ZAG members. I want to just mention that this is a $20 million development, apartment development. One thing, and I've been developing apartments for 13 years personally, one thing that drives apartments to improve is when they have competition. So this would be a new $20 million facility that includes market units that will be, in our mind, the top of the entire area. And it will drive other apartment complexes to bring up their standards to what is current now. To illustrate the quality of the apartments that we build, we were lucky enough to have Commissioner Hambrick join us on a couple site visits for things that we have constructed. We showed one that has been in service for 20 years, and we showed one that has been in service for 1.5 years. We are very proud in the fact that it is hard to differentiate the difference between those two buildings, from a quality of upkeep, the cleanliness, quality of our tenants, quality of our staff, quality of our landscaping, everything. The 20-year product looks as though it was built maybe 5 years ago. The only difference is the computers that we provided were a bit older than the new ones we just bought for the 1.5 years. Also, in the areas that we showed these properties at, they were areas that we were one of the first developments on the ground. And that's a $20 million development is what this would be. Those were similar priced, some a little higher. That spurred development in the entire area. It brought amenities to that community. It brought services to that community. It expanded infrastructure, which I know was mentioned by the public earlier about development in general. These developments expand infrastructure. Case in point for this project, it is in the Highway 138 overlay. So we will be putting in brand new sidewalks and street lighting per the overlay requirements, both along Highway 138 and all along Scotts Road. We will have no residential from our site, no access onto Scotts Road. And I just want to make that known at the forefront. There will be no access on Scotts Road. Site plan does show an entrance. That was requested by the fire marshal. It will have bollards that only the fire marshal and his team can access in the event of an emergency. Additionally, we are having to extend the sewer line all the way down to where Scotts Road basically meets 138. I don't have a linear foot estimate, but that will be a new sewer line that's put in. Not only serves our development, but any new development that goes down that road there, they'd have the ability to tie into that, because that is, of course, given back to the city upon completion of our project. And outside of that, we are paying full amount in taxes. It is a development impact goes to the county and the city. We get no reprieve on our taxes. We're asking for no reprieve on taxes. We're paying the full real estate amount, and we're paying all the water and sewer fees and building permit fees. So I'll answer some questions.
Well, you had that down 5 minutes flat.
Oh,
All
perfect.
right.
All right.
All right, public hearing. Anybody like to speak in favor of? Come forward, please.
Mr. Chair, he used all 5 of the minutes unless you decide that you
are correct. I'm sorry. No, you can't speak in favor of. He's used up 5 minutes. So at this time, anybody opposed to? Well, we see you, okay? Anybody in opposition to? Please come forward, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Reed.
I'd ask everyone to rise that's with us. Hello, Commissioners. Can y'all hear me?
State your name for us.
My name is Blanche Phillips, but I'm better known as Mickey like the mouse. I live at 841 Scott Road since 1966. Scott Road is a cut-through from 85 Highway to 138, and we have every day speeders, numerous speeders through there. It's almost scary to go to get your mail. I'm opposed to the four-story apartments being built among single-family homes. It will drastically increase our traffic, which is already horrible. It will impact our schools, our homes, the values of our homes, and increase crime. Can you imagine an increase of 180 to 250 people in an already congested area? A building 4 stories high can not look nice there, no matter how nice it is. It will stand out in our community. We understand growth needs to come, but could we please consider a subdivision or condos and even apartments that maybe are 2 stories high that will blend in our community? Please consider your citizens and our community and make a decision that will be pleasing to all. We ask you to please vote no. Keep our community attractive and livable. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Marla Thompson Kendall. I've been a resident of Clayton County for the past 27 years. I serve on the Clayton County Board of Ethics. I'm an educator, and I am one of the founders of Clayco HOA. I'm speaking in opposition of BOC 2212-0268 to build a 90-unit apartment building on the corridor as mentioned before. In 2022, Creek Grove Ventures presented Clayton County Zoning Board a project to build a 3-story, 1 to 2 bedroom luxury apartment building with balconies for seniors. And then they switched on us, like bait and switch. And on March 6th, Grove Creek Ventures presented their modifications that no longer included a senior housing facility, although seniors could live there. There will be a 4-story building instead of a 3-story, and it will be 1 to 3 bedrooms. So if they baited and switched us at this early stage, what could they do as we move forward if we decide to move forward with this project? There are several studies, as Devin mentioned, that found that Rock Creek did, that found that there were an increase in values when you have these properties. But Clayton State University did a study called CREST, and they found that Clayton County needs to do a variety of different things, and one of them was already mentioned about the infrastructure. And in July of 2021, Leon Stafford wrote an article based on the study that CREST did in Clayton State. They spent $75,000 to conduct a study that revealed how for Clayton County to become an economic player, it wants to be leaders and needs to make it easier for small businesses and diversify the community's housing stock. The research that we've done, we found that more than 50% of home realization in Clayton County are renters, which oversees the numbers of individuals who own homes. And while the county has inviolable assets such as the world's busiest airport, we know that the water department, and we know about the different expressways and how easy it is to get to Atlanta. But if in fact we allow this to happen, it could decrease the tax base, because you have individuals like myself who could leave the county and go live in Henry County or live in DeKalb County or live in Cobb County, because I can leave, but other people don't have that option. Miss Mickey, she just said that she's been here since 1966. I'm certain that she doesn't just want to pack up and leave. For Clayton County to be ready for an economic expansion, It must address some structural issues, housing, education, of course, and healthcare. Clayton County also needs more diversification in the housing stock so that we have affordable housing, because I'm certainly not against anyone who may have some financial challenges and may not be able to do anything but rent. However, we need to make sure that we diversify the stock. There was the article that was written by Leon Stafford on July 21st. There were two quotes. One was from Commissioner Hamburg and the other one was from Commissioner Franklin. And as I am paraphrasing what Gail Hamburg said, we have fairly good starter houses. But when they want to move up and their salaries go up, we don't have any higher price homes. Because in the article, it talked about how we're in that zone of we have 100,000 to 200,000 houses, the cost of those houses. But once you want to, if you want to go up and get to a higher level, we don't have that housing stock. And bringing in these kinds of elements will not allow us to do that. Also, in your e-blast, I read your e-blast every week. And every week, you guys have these opportunities where we need employees as first responders, as police, as fire, in the hospitals, as well as at the schools. But if we bring in more renters, are they going to be educated people that can fulfill those jobs? Also, one of the things that Commissioner Warner said is what I love about the study that Clayton State did is you brought what was the perception versus the reality, and you made recommendations. And then she followed up and said, if we are not meeting the mark, then we have to go back and reevaluate. So today, I ask you to reevaluate.
Okay, anybody else like to speak in opposition to? Anybody else?
Terrence Cheatham, Riverdale, and I would just like to echo everything that Dr. Marla just said, but I'd like to put a lot of emphasis on the fact of home ownership and how important home ownership is, not just in Clayton County, but in our economy, period, throughout the U.S. And most people's true value when they put themselves into a financial statement perspective, their value comes from the home ownership. And the more we allow apartment buildings to come in close to our homes, the more we are decreasing our home ownership price, the more we are not being put in a position to leave behind for our children or grandchildren. So again, it's not being opposed to the idea, it's just the location of the idea and what it's stopping us from doing and the services that is taken away from us. Because I really would like to know what's the maximum capacity if they had all bedrooms filled in this particular facility that they're proposing, to see what it's adding to our county and the services that it's taken away. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Greg Kendall, and I work at the Atlanta VA. I just want to pass on a message that I've received from several of my fellow veterans. They are adamantly opposed to this because they fear it will decrease the value of their homes, and they ask that I let that be known to the board. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? All right, sir, you got 5 minutes for your rebuttal.
All right, first, thank you all for your comments. We do take these things to heart, and we heard many of these at the ZAG. I want to point out a couple things in the property value. Again, this is a $20 million development. In the same spirit that you can produce studies that will say one thing, I could find studies on the internet will say another. So we could have that debate back and forth. I would like to encourage everyone to reference NPR. Everyone knows NPR. If you listen to NPR, you can't go a week without hearing the affordable housing crisis. And this relates to the comments of home ownership. The problem with home ownership right now is homes are wildly more expensive than specifically millennials and the people that are growing up in today's workforce can afford. They simply don't have the savings or the ability to put down a 20% payment and not go through PMI and afford a mortgage on a $500,000 home. That's just a fact in America. What these apartments are doing are allowing people that are younger, millennials, growing up, getting out of school, working in the employment jobs that you guys mentioned are needed. Those are the people that live in these apartments. It allows them to save money while paying a rent that is not as demanding as some of these 20-year-old apartments that have $2,100 rents for a one-bedroom unit. So this is allowing you to get the resident base to buy homes and improve their lives while improving the county at the same time. Diversity of housing was mentioned several times. This is the definition of diversity of housing. Everything that we have heard proposed in the 2 months, last year to this year, has been about $300,000 plus homes. So there's not much diversity if that's the only thing that is being discussed. I also want to point out that it was mentioned we were bait and switching. We came here last year and was asked for senior deal. We got it rezoned. We submitted a senior deal. I have a letter from DCA. I have an 80-plus page application. We spent over $50,000 putting together an application for a senior deal. This is the letter. Can I turn and face? This is the letter from DCA that we submitted a senior deal. We are not here to bait and switch you. We are here to tell you that that failed, that it will not work as a senior deal, and we are trying to make a deal work. So yes, it is family. Yes, it is still 1 and 2 bedrooms. It meets all the parameters that were required last time. It's just a different tendency. That does not mean that we are marketing to, people with 5 kids. That's not even allowed. We are marketing to young professionals, people just out of school, roommates to come live here and get a step up in life while paying a rent that is just reasonable. It's not even quote affordable, it's reasonable. So the bait and switch thing, I do strongly oppose that notion. Again, we mentioned the homes, and we had a comment from Commissioner Davis earlier about mortgage rates going up. Mortgage rates are likely to climb again after the Fed meets tomorrow. What is that going to do to this whole availability of homes and the issues of affordability as is today? So I respect that people have been in these homes for a very long time. We are not here to devalue your home. We are here to bring you a $20 million development near your neighborhood that will spur the development that Highway 138 overlay is designed to generate. And that is to bring businesses to that area. And when these businesses, in 10 years, when this entire corridor has been developed, this is somewhere that the people that work in those corridors can live and decrease traffic from having to drive from 10 miles away to the 40-year-old apartment complex that's run down because that's the only thing they can afford. Can I save my last minute for the people that we're here to speak for?
No.
No? All right. Well, then I believe that's all I have.
Okay. Commissioner Hamburg.
Yes. Can we read the conditions again?
No more than 90 total units. No 3-bedroom units. The family living development shall comply in general conformity with the site plan provided by the applicant revised March 17, 2023, with the exception that the project shall not have any 3-bedroom units. A minimum of 3 parking spaces shall be designated for electric vehicle charging and shall be free to residents. A minimum of 2 elevators for use by the residents shall be installed. Certificates of occupancy shall not be issued until a management company has been identified and provided to the county. Elevations provided by the applicant revised March 3rd, 2023, and as presented to the BOC shall be what is constructed for the 4-story building. Secured package delivery lockers, community room equipped with Wi-Fi access, community center with owner, which means development and apartment management, provided computers, fitness center, outdoor pavilion with grills, activity lawn. Security items shall include the following: lighting on the building and parking lots, building controlled access on all entry points, building and site security cameras, county police access to surveillance cameras in the case of an incident.
Okay, thank you. Let me say this. This is in the overlay district for the county. Mr. GK, can you come and tell us regarding the overlay district, what that means to the county and why we have overlay districts? And let me say this while he's coming. We have been working with MATA on what we call the BRT. We don't have rail or whatever. We're not going to get rail and all, but we do have, are considering, have decided, rather, to have what we call BRT. And this area is close to the developments and all that will be coming with what we call the BRT, bus rapid transit and all. This is within the MATA bus route and all. But just give us a little bit of about the overlay district and what that does for Clayton County.
Chairman, Commissioners, good evening, and Vice Chair. In concept, the overlay districts allows the county to control quality and uniformity, especially with the BRT or the transit-oriented development that is coming in those modern nodes. These overlays will help to design developments that are germane to those type of products, and the overlay will also allow us to achieve the type of housing quality that we're looking for.
Okay, thank you. I do have a question regarding if this is approved, how many parking spaces will you have for the residents?
We will meet the 1.75 required parking spaces. That's per the overlay.
Okay.
I don't have an exact number for you.
Okay, and some of the calls I received or emails said that this would be the, I guess like low income, Section 8 housing or whatever. Okay, now we have been told and we have it written that this is market value. Is that correct?
There is market value housing included in this development.
Okay.
There is also, that means that there are units that go at market rate rents conducive and equal to the area. There is also an affordable aspect to this job. This is not Section 8. This is not free housing. We are not building something that will be deemed a project. We are building a quality housing. Every unit is designed the exact same way, whether it's a market rate unit or what we call a rent restricted unit, workforce housing. All that simply does is means that we are taking the area median income, which for Clayton County is $92,000. For a family of 4, the area median income is $92,000. That is from HUD. That is a federal system. And our tenants, whether it be 1 or 2 people in 1 or 2 bedrooms, make a percentage of that area median income. And then their rent is restricted to 30% of their income. So they are paying rent, it's just restricted, it's all. It is a program, it's called the Low Income Housing Tax Credit.
Please, let's be respectful. Let's be respectful of the speaker.
Yep. The name is not conducive to what it actually is, but it is simply restricting rent to 30% of a tenant's income.
Will you have a management company?
Yes.
Or how will this?
Third-party management company experienced in both market rate and workforce.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Mr. Chairman and Board, I recommend approval of BOC 2212-0268 to modify the site plan that's already in place with the conditions.
Is there a second? Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions?
Yes. My question is, from the research I've done, the highest family income in Georgia is in Forsyth County, and it's not 92,000. So I want to understand, where are you getting these numbers from?
Yeah. If you go to Novogradic, it's a website. They pull all of the HUD data to determine what the area median income is. It's AMI.
So
Was that a family of four?
Family of 4.
So ACCG's
Please,
numbers-
let's be respectful.
So ACCG numbers are totally incorrect. 1. 2, yes, the Fed is looking at perhaps raising interest rates, which they think they're not going to do. So money's going to become less available because of the banking fiascos that's taking place in banks buying out. So my question is, even how can this get done? If you had to get a grant to do a senior development, where does the funding come from to do a 4-story development? And with that, you're talking about, you said 1.75, so you're looking at roughly about 158, 160 parking spaces for cars coming through. I'm just wondering about the traffic as well.
Yeah, to address your first comment relates to the Fed raising rates and the problem of getting money, you're absolutely correct. That's why you're seeing a slowdown in market rate apartments, in single family home developments, anything where you have to take out a construction or permanent loan. That's being harder to do. We've done market rate, and it's harder to get done right now. This is done through tax credits, which is given from the federal government to the state. That's a set amount each year. It's actually not affected at all by mortgage rates or lending rates. We take those tax credits, we apply for the award, state gives us, you're getting $10 million in tax credits. I'm using round numbers for ease. I take that tax credit and I have to sell that to a local bank. So a local bank that has a requirement called the CRA, Community Reinvestment Act, has to buy that tax credit. So they'll give me 90 cents on the dollar. I take that 90 cents on the dollar and I build the apartment. So that's the money that finances the construction of the deal. I still have to put a permanent mortgage on it, and we are affected by the mortgage rates, and we make those work. And
with those tax credits, it is my understanding that those tax credits can only be used at a certain rate for either rental properties or whatever. With many of those tax credits, they're not tax credits you can just throw out for the normal. And I'm thinking you're not going to get tax credits if you're putting rent for $92,000 for your family. And I'm wondering where these, I mean, I know where some of these folks are that I'm kind of concerned, are they in that area?
Well, I mean, that's why we do market studies. And as I mentioned, I have the market study in hand right now, and I'm happy to share it with you. But
I'd love to see it.
yeah, that's not a problem. Again, we do third-party market studies. They're registered with the state to do them. We did them for a senior deal last year. The senior deal was actually less in need than what the family deals needed. So to read off of the market study that was provided, currently for the immediate area this project would serve, there is a, excuse me, I gotta find the number. So there is a need of 4196 one-bedrooms, 3480 two-bedrooms. That is the demand. The current supply is currently 0. So there's a need there to address that comment. And traffic, as you mentioned as well, any development you do in this area for this size site, whether it be the original zoning of general business or the current zoning of residential multifamily, is going to bring traffic. But again, apartments, any type of living facility, has the least amount of traffic impact. If you were to do a hotel, that's the most amount of traffic impact. If you do a retail business like a shopping center, retail center, something where people are not staying, they're coming and going quite frequently, that is the highest level of traffic impact. So I understand your concerns of traffic. I understand the concerns of the public as it relates to Scotts Road. We've done our best to mitigate that as much as possible. We do not have an entry onto Scotts Road. We only have access on Highway 138, and it will be designed by Georgia DDOT standards.
Any other questions?
No, it's not my district.
Any other questions? All right, those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nay. It's 4-1, it passes.
Thank you.
Our next item is item number 43, BOC 2301-0269.
Hold on a second, Madam Clerk. Let's
Yes,
let
sir.
those who are leaving leave peacefully and quietly.
Mr. Chair, I have a question while we're here, if I may. There are several apartment buildings coming up around the Mount Zion area.
Please, let's leave quietly, please.
Can you
I'm
ask?
sorry, Commissioner
what-
Frank.
I'm sorry, what district is that? There are several large apartments going up. I just want to know what district that's in, right there on
Those
Mount
are
Zion.
split between districts 4 and 1.
Oh, that's District 4, okay.
Yeah, there's one in District 4, since we want to go into that. That was approved 3
District
years
4.
ago, which is the nicest of townhomes that we have in there, which are all 2 bedrooms. Okay, we have not approved anymore, will not be approving possibly any multifamily dwellings in that area because of the detached home values in that area.
But it was approved when?
It sure was, back in 2019, 20.
Okay.
But the others are in District 1, on Mount Zion.
And then also, 1941, going southbound, the left side of the road with all of the storage units. What district is that?
City of Jonesboro.
The storage units, and then also on 1941.
The
There's one across.
It would be, those could be in districts 3 and 4.
And 4.
Okay, let's move on. Next, Madam Clerk.
Our next item is item number 43, BOC 2301-0269, which is for a conditional use permit to allow a drive-through restaurant.
And BOC 2301-0269, which is a request by Habiba Investments LLC for a conditional use permit to allow a drive-through restaurant at 6510 Terra Boulevard, Jonesboro, Georgia, 30236, which is in the MX mixed-use zoning district and the South Terra Boulevard overlay district. Said property consisting of plus or minus 0.83 acres is further known as Parcel 13142D C007 and located on the corner of Terra Boulevard and Edgemore Lane. It is former location of a restaurant that burned down. The proposal is for a Tim Hortons, which is a Canadian franchisee or Canadian company. These are the elevations. The staff's recommendation is approval, and same thing as Zach's recommendation. That completes staff's presentation.
Applicant present. Please come forward, sir. State your name for us and any minutes and you would like to say for a rebuttal.
My name is Stephen Rowland with Rowland Engineering. I'd like to reserve 3 minutes for rebuttal.
Okay.
As stated, this is for a Tim Hortons coffee shop. If you recall, we were before you about 3 months ago with a text amendment request. As a result of that request, Commission passed an ordinance making restaurants with drive-throughs are now a conditional use in the mixed use or the MX district. Therefore, we're back before you to request that conditional use. We understand that this development lies within the Terra Boulevard overlay district. We have designed the site to meet those requirements. Some of the major items in the design regarding that is we are adjacent to residential property. We are providing the required 40-foot buffer against the residential property. There's also a requirement that the menu boards and the speakers not face that residential property, so we have oriented the drive-through lanes so that those speakers were not facing the residential property as required by the overlay district. The proposed use is a 1,600 square foot coffee shop with double drive-through and 2 entrances. As you see, we have an entrance off Terra Boulevard and one off Edgemore. There are several similar uses in the same zoning district. There's a Popeyes across the road, there's a Starbucks nearby that have drive-through. Therefore, we ask your approval of the conditional use to allow the drive-through in the MX district. Be glad to answer any questions that you may have.
Okay, thank you. Anybody like to speak in reference to this request? Please come.
And for the record, this is in the North Terry Boulevard. So the legal ad was correct.
And if you would, put up the rendering of the shop itself. Please come forward, sir.
Abid Kutliwala, I'm the franchisee of Tim Horton. First of all, just something about Tim Horton. Tim Horton is a ranked number 3rd coffee brand in the world. It's over 6,000 locations, over 6,000. This may be the 2nd or 3rd in Georgia that will open up in Southeast. The first one will be in Columbus, Georgia, which will open in May. And this will be the 2nd or 3rd one that will open in the state of Georgia. And it's a very good coffee products, particularly, and other beverages beside the coffee. So looking forward to get your approval, and I'm here to answer any questions.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else like to speak in favor of? Whoever's phone keeps going off, please silence your phones. Anybody else like to speak in favor of? Anybody in opposition to? Anybody opposed? Yes, you? All right. Commissioner Davis. Oh, wait a minute. So you have 3 minutes for your rebuttal.
I don't believe I have anything to add. I'd be glad to answer any questions if you have any.
Commissioner Davis.
Thank you for that. Only thing I'd like to know is, in front of that, do we have a condition for a sidewalk or 8-foot wide sidewalk in front of that property?
About 8 feet. Sidewalks aren't 8 feet.
Staff was not proposing any conditions.
Yeah, for a pedestrian safety issue, we need that's a sidewalk out in front of there.
The applicant come forward.
Sidewalks are required by all new developments, correct? But I don't know about 8 feet.
He's making a request for 8 feet. Is that your request?
Yes.
He's asking if you
Are there-
would consider putting 8
This is a
foot
major,
in.
and yes, we've had 8-foot sidewalks that have been approved north of there.
Usually 4 to 6, even with pedestrians.
This is this would be a state route.
Yes.
Georgia DOT would have to approve those
Yeah.
as well.
No, and if I may,
Commissioner Franklin.
yes, if I may add, just for the board to know, not only does Georgia DOT have to approve it, but then also it will be part of the plan that we just got approved for additional sidewalks and so forth. But generally, I noticed it would be usually about 6 feet is what they would extend to.
ADA requirements are 5 feet.
Yeah, 5 feet for ADA. I haven't seen 8 foot.
We have approved an 8-foot for one of the units that was approved back in 2020.
But there was a living unit probably. Was it a living unit,
It was
Commissioner?
on 1941, and yes, it was.
Was it a living place where people were living?
It was a yes, multifamily, I believe.
Okay,
They were
that's
redoing it.
quite
And so
different.
we had gotten it because of the pedestrian issues we've had on 1941. That is why I'm requesting that. Yes, part of that did go onto their property, yes, it did. It's the same thing we're requesting down on 1941 and Main Street as well for the sidewalks.
Mr. Commissioner, if I may lend, I hear you clearly, and definitely, I've been pushing for the safety. But what we probably need to do, and the attorney may need to look at it, look at the approval of it within the requirements of the sidewalk, but then anything else would have to be approved separately through GDOT, through our overlay plans for safety, pedestrian safety, is we just got additional funding for, along with from MARTA. So that would be a little bit separate, if I'm not mistaken. I think you can
Mr.
address it,
Reed?
but it would have to be addressed separately
Mr.
because
Anchica?
we can't approve it. A separate body has to approve that, a governing body.
Well, we can always make the request, and that's why I hear them making the request. But also on the flip side of that is you got to have GDOT approval as well. So how do we move forward from this point? That's what you need to debate, I guess, Commissioner Davis.
Well, I guess I'm asking the requester, what are you willing to do as far as our pedestrian safety issues here in Clayton? We've had multiple pedestrian deaths on that causeway, and that's what I'm looking to avoid.
We are not proposing, I mean, other than the driveway, we're not proposing any work within GDOT's right-of-way. We'd be happy to provide a sidewalk, sidewalks that would go to Edgemoor. Then you get into, you've got to provide a handicap ramp, you've got to provide a crosswalk, you've got to provide a handicap ramp on the other side, and that kind of extends, or either you build a sidewalk to nowhere, which.
And honestly, that's what's taking place, but we've got to begin to connect these sooner or later. And that's becoming the issue here.
I don't know if the right-of-way in that area is conducive to building a sidewalk. GDOT does require certain setbacks, safety areas. We could put the sidewalk on within our property. There again, what will it connect to? We're willing to
because I think
meet that need.
If I'm correct, this is the property north of yours. Well, they do have a sidewalk on there, I believe. Or is there not? There's not. Yeah. And what I'm really trying to do is to get the frontage of your property covered. Understand, we're not asking you to build it on and then connect it to the next, but we've got to have that property covered where folks are. I would imagine that even though it's a drive-through, folks will be walking up to yours if they could, possibly. They won't.
There is a Starbucks right over there. If you're going to comment, sir, please come to the mic.
Sorry, there is a Starbucks.
Come to the mic.
Sorry, there is a Starbucks, and they don't even have a sidewalks over there. Plus, the other issue is, unless I may have overseen it, but the other issue is getting anything permit from a GDOT is 6 to 8 months time frame. So that will completely kill the project.
And they own the right of way.
Yeah, and it's not going to be. It's not. I just went through. It took me a year and a half to get a permit in Fairburn, Georgia, for a GDOT.
Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Frank.
Previously, in fact, when the Starbucks was built, the previous commissioner who was here at the time, what they had was where developers would put into a separate fund the amount that would have been spent on the sidewalk. Does that still exist? Does staff still have that capability of doing such? Because that's how it got built. Because our ordinances do say that any new projects have to have sidewalks in front. But in this project, and what I'm trying to get Commissioner Davis to understand is GDOT owns that right of way. So we as a board cannot impose something on a separate agency. But we can work within our ordinances. So I would guess that question would be to staff, to COO, and to the attorney, to see if, just as we did with Starbucks, can you put the amount that would be spent on a sidewalk in a separate fund? Because you do have to have that approved by GDOT.
Commissioner Davis, how you want to proceed?
No, I was waiting.
So the Transportation and Development Department, their comment was provide 6-foot sidewalk with 4-foot grass strip along entire property frontage. And so curb and gutter along the same frontage, if it does not exist, curb and gutter is required with all proposed improvements. And so that is in order to get the site development approval, Transportation Development and the overlay district requires 6-foot sidewalk.
But the question at hand, if I may, the challenge, I want the board to understand, the challenge is it's not his land where you're asking us to put that sidewalk. It belongs to GDOT.
Okay.
That's their right of way. So that's the conflict.
Do we have transportation? Mr. Matarco, can you come up and address this, please?
our development standards call for sidewalk along every frontage, commercial property, 6 foot. If it's not a condition of the zoning through the development process, he will be required to address the sidewalk as part of the development plan submittal process. It is Georgia DOT property. It's the right of way. We have a good working relationship. They usually adhere to our desires from the local jurisdictions. Starbucks has sidewalk. There's sidewalk south of here. I don't foresee this process going anything different than previous development along a state route where they try to adhere to what the locals desire. This is a common thing for development. I mean, we hit them on our development standards, your development standards for sidewalk. But the 8 foot is not the requirement. It's 6 foot in the code. So that's what we would be enacting. Anything additional would be something on what you're doing right now.
So we can, if I'm hearing, we can do the 6 foot. That's in the code, correct?
Yes, if there's no conditions on here, as soon as he submits development plans for the county, the first comment he's going to get is 6 foot sidewalk. Complete frontage. I mean, that's what your code says. So anything additional is something that you're for right now.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Commissioner, how you want to proceed?
We'll proceed and approve this as stated, and I guess does not have to be a condition, so it will be 6 foot sidewalk already implemented within the code.
Is there a second? I'll second the motion. Any questions? Those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous.
Our next item on the agenda is item number 44, BOC 2301-0277, which is request by the Board of Commissioners to adjust the boundaries of the Highway 54 overlay district on the zoning map.
This is BOC 2302-0277. The affected boundaries are within the 5th District and include portions of land lots 211, 212, 213. And specifically, this is to remove 6 parcels on the west side of Highway 54 from the overlay district. And those are 05211B, D001, 05211B, D002, 05211A, A001, 05211C, B001, 05205, 212001, 05205, 212003. And so this includes the 4 PED parcels that are highlighted in red, as well as 2 parcels of one being pretty big, highlighted AG, highlighted in red as well. And so those 6 will disappear from the overlay district. Staff recommended approval, and so did ZAG.
All right, this is a board-initiated request, so at this time, does anyone want to speak in favor of our request? Anyone want to speak in favor of? Anybody opposed? Anybody opposed? I see this is in District 3, so you have any comments, Commissioner Franklin?
No comments.
All right, so is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Hambrick. Any questions? Hearing none. Those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous.
That was me.
What was it?
The board will now hear public comments. Citizens will be given 2 minutes maximum time limit to speak before the board, with a total time of 20 minutes for public comments. Comments must be limited to matters on the agenda or over matters with which the governing body has jurisdiction. Speakers must maintain decorous demeanor and refrain from personal attacks upon board members, shouting and using obscene language. Please state your name and county of residency for the record. Speak clearly into the microphone, and speakers should be courteous, respectful, and not make any disparaging remarks or use abusive language when addressing the board.
Michael Montroy. Michael Montroy. Shaka Woods. Shaka Woods. Chris Gallagher. I know he's here.
Hey, Mr. Gallagher.
Good evening, Commissioners. Chris Gallagher, Clayton County. I'd like to talk about we're having a high increase in crime of, cars constantly being broken into, like between 3 o'clock in the morning and 5 o'clock there throughout the county. And it's like, where are the parents? You don't know your kids are sneaking out every night at that hour. I think they have to be held accountable. Also, we have a lot of law enforcement officers that they go out, they put their lives on the line when they walk out the door. They don't know if they're going to come home that evening to see their family there. I think that, to track them, we need to pay them a lot more than they're getting, putting their lives on the line there. We need to make sure they have the training that they need there for the job, and then also that they have resources with all the overtime that they're forced to work there, and that they're tire stretched thin to deal with any anxiety issues that they might possibly have there. And then also, it's like, why are the cops always in my neighborhood? Why are you hassling me there? And then the next thing, it's like, oh, I never see the cops. Where are the cops? I mean, it's like a non-win situation there. And I think that we need to let them know that they're really valued and what an important job they do and how much we appreciate them, and somehow show them that they are valued in everything and that we appreciate them putting their life on the line there. But I think that we need to increase their pay level for all they do, for us and that, and, tell them how appreciated that they are. Thank you.
Well, thank you for those comments, and trust me, we definitely appreciate our public safety officials, and every chance we get, we try to look at ways to incentivize them, whether it's pay or other ways, but thank you for your comments.
Can I say something, Mr. Chairman? Also?
Yes.
I agree with you as well, and we are looking at increasing their pay levels as we're looking at other jurisdictions. Their pay keeps going up, so we want to make sure that we make it as equal as possible as well. So thank you for your comments.
Mr. Gallagher, now you know you're not going to live in District 3 without me telling you, so you come back during budget time, right? Because I tried to get a 12% increase for our first responders. We're doing an impact fee study as well, but I think the board, we can continue to work harder, so come on back.
Come on, Mickey Garber. Mickey Garber.
Madam Clerk, Mickey Garber, unincorporated Rex, Georgia. Introduction. I am pro small business. I am pro quality single family detached housing. I am pro labor, and I am pro livable retirement plan. You may ask where I'm going in this conversation. I'll tell you. At your last work session was discussed funding the retirement plan for Clayton County employees. I want their retirement plan to be fully funded with, and I repeat, with a COLA, a cost of living allowance. I don't want the employees of Clayton County, given their 20 to 30 years service, to end up like the employees of Eastern Airlines that ended up with zero, robbed and cheated by a man like Frank Lorenzo. Put your money where your mouth is. You always compliment the employees of Clayton County. Now prove it. Thank you.
Thank you. Timothy Vondale Jefferson. Timothy Vondale Jefferson. Madam Clerk, that concludes public comment. Do we need executive session?
Good evening, Chair, Madam Vice Chair, and Commissioners. Yes, all three, litigation, real estate, and personnel.
All right, is there a motion going to executive session
So
for,
moved.
can I finish?
'Cause you won't be listening to me down
Litigation,
here.
personnel, and real
I be
estate.
saying stuff, you
Is
don't
there a
listen to
motion?
me. So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
I'll second the motion. Those in favor, aye. Opposed? It's unanimous. All right, motion to reconvene.
So moved, Mr.
Is there
Chair.
a second?
Second.
Those in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous. Mr. Reed, take them both together.
All right. I've got two settlement agreements. First is made between Jaquavis Whitaker and Ramon Wynn on, as well as former Sheriff Victor Hill, Roland Bohr, Levon Allen, Clayton County, Sheriff Clayton County, and any other released parties, and that is in the amount of $159,000. I'm sorry, $159,500. And this is related to an incident that occurred on or about January 15th, 2021, at the Clayton County Jail. The second is between Melissa Wigley and Rebecca Wigley and Clayton County. And this is related to civil action file number 22 CV02722, which is an accident that occurred on or about January 9th, 2021 at or near 6639 Terra Boulevard. And that is in the amount of $25,000.
Did we have to take those together?
Did you prefer to take them one at a time?
Well, he's already read them. I just want to take
That
them
don't
both
mean we
separate.
can't separate them.
Yeah,
All right.
I mean, you could have done them separately, but
Well, I asked you to take them both. There was no objection, so we're gonna move forward now. Those in favor. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. All right, any question on either of the items? Hearing none. Those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
3-2, it passes. Ms. Ambles. And as Ms. Ambles is coming, I'm gonna make a motion to appoint Chief Timothy Sweat as the interim fire chief of the Clayton County Fire Department. Is there a second to that motion?
So moved.
Second.
Which one of y'all want to take it? All right, Commissioner Hambrick took it. Any questions? Those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Please proceed.
Okay, so we're good with Tim Sweat, right?
Yes.
You all don't need anything from HR?
It's official.
All right, congratulations.
We do need to see your driver's license because I don't believe your first name, sir.
Please, Ms. Ambles, go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Chairman. And again, good evening to the esteemed Board of Commissioners and good evening to our Clayton County citizens. The last one we have is Ms. Linda Boswell, employee number 26345. Her current classifications is grant administrator. Ms. Boswell has a tenure of over 5 years with Clayton County. She began her employment on 7/15/17. We are requesting a step increase for Administrator Boswell from grade 35, step 9. Total compensation is $125,954 to grade 35, step 17. Total compensation is $138,777 annually. This request does represent a 10% increase. The budgetary impact for FY23 is $3,452. The budgetary impact for FY24 is $12,822.
Is there a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Anderson. Any questions? Those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous.
Thank you all.
Did you do Sweat? The pay?
Oh, I got to spread it across the minutes.
Yes.
Thank you so much. On behalf of the Office of the COO, Human Resources is recommending promotion for Timmy Sweat. Timmy Sweat, employee number 12725. His current classification is Fire Chief Financial Officer. We are requesting promotion to interim Fire Chief at grade 39, step 26, which is a total annual compensation of $205,684. We want the record to reflect that this classification does not assume the resiliency and sustainability, task, duties, and responsibility. The request results in a 15% increase and is per civil service rules. We are requesting a 3/18/23 effective date.
Is there a motion?
And Chairman, allow me to, very important to put the impact, budgetary impacts on the record. Budgetary impact for FY '23 is a savings of $13,392, and the budgetary impact for FY '24 is a savings of $43,521.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second?
Any questions?
Yes.
Commissioner Hambrick.
I noticed the prior position was titled, it included finance something.
Chief
Will the-
Financial Officer.
Right. Will he continue that, or will it be fire chief?
It's fire chief, yes ma'am, fire
That goes on
chief.
to somebody else?
Yes.
Good, okay.
And look at him, he's back there saying, yes, it will.
As long as it's somebody that can count, sir.
All right, any other questions? Those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Chief Sweat, you want to have a quick, brief couple of words?
1999.
I want him, come on.
He's gonna sing a song.
Mr. Chair, Madam Vice Chair, Commissioners, really brief. So first, just thanks to my fire chief. He's prepared all of us to take this next step. I'm fortunate that you find yourself confident in my abilities to give me the opportunity. And on behalf of the men and women back there, it's all about them and what we do to support them in their endeavors to continue moving us forward. So from the bottom of my heart, my gratitude, thank you very much. And it's time to go to work.
Continue to make us proud.
right. Thank you.
Please. All right. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Commissioner
Second.
Franklin made, okay, all right, somebody did it. Commissioner Anderson, Commissioner Franklin made the second. Those in favor, aye. Opposed? That's unanimous.